Welcome to the workshop.
Let me show you how I made a replacement wooden lid for my friend's bread bin.
To make the top, I'm going to use some pine and some cherry. I'm going to split this pine board down the middle and insert a strip of cherry through there, which will give me enough width for the top, and I'll use the area of the cherry to create a little pull for lifting the lid off. So we'll start by cutting these boards to just over the finished length, and then I'll split the piece of pine down the centre. So now I have my three roughly milled pieces, cherry in the middle, the two bits of pine on the outside. So we need some handwork first. We'll plane these nice and flat and square the edges off. I'm going to form the handle before I glue these pieces together, because I think that will be the best way of doing it. I'm just flattening the boards. My thickness planer is very much a budget model. It does a reasonable job, but to get things absolutely flat and the sides square, I always come to my hand planes. That's looking good. And now just preparing the edges at 90 degrees to the face side. That's lovely. We wish to create some finger slots here and here, and undercut on the inside to give a little grip so that we can pick our lid up quite easily. So, having set our boards to length, I put a straight bit in the router table and set that 3/16 below the thickness of our boards. By setting a stop at each end of the router fence, we can ensure that our finger slot will be consistent in every piece. I've swapped over to a bearing guided 1/4 inch round over bit now, and I'm just going to use part of that cutter to round over the top edge of the finger slots. Now I've switched to a dovetailing bit. I've reset my stops slightly closer together and set the exposure of the bit so that it'll just take a little piece out for the finger to grip onto. So now we'll run those. That's nice, and all we need to do now is blend the undercut section to the vertical section in each corner and do a bit of sanding to get rid of the burn marks. The lid glued up and clamped. We'll leave that overnight and we'll continue with it tomorrow. We've now got a lovely rectangular lid with a pull, all glued up nicely. Next we need to mark out the shape of our bread bin on the underside and cut it out on the bandsaw. Now we need to sand to the line before we can put the rebate in. With my belt sander attached to my bench and with a temporary 90-degree fence, I can now sand to the line. With a roundover bit installed, I can soften the top surface of the lid. Now with a straight bit I can cut a rebate underneath the lid. And a little bit of rounding over, the rebating. The lid now fits nice and snug.
After some hand sanding, some application of a sanding sealer, more sanding and a few coats of shellac polish, and the job's finished.